It is time to start preparing yourself for the next crypto bull run. Yes, we've seen many months of downside, and right now crypto seems dead. But you must understand that markets run in different cycles, and we are getting to a point of a reset. Now, in this video, I'm going to share top strategies that I'm preparing myself with to make a lot of money in the next bull cycle. This is short-term strategies, long-term strategies, and ultimately, how can you prepare yourself to make life-changing money? I'm Sheldon. Welcome to Crypto Banter. Let's jump straight into it. So I want to start off with this chart over here to show you guys where we are when it comes to high time frame, when it comes to crypto. Now, there's one big indicator you must focus on, and it's this indicator over here, which is a relative strength index, right? The RSI indicator. And as you could see, that over the many years, all the way since 2016, 2015, you have these periods of crazy bull runs, and then you have the bear markets. But then what you get is you get to a certain point where crypto does not exist anymore, right? Many think that it's completely dead because many months of downside. Then it hits a stage of very boring months, right? Where people just completely lose interest. But then any moment, a new bull market sparks up and all of a sudden gains come very quickly. That comes from when we get to a certain point of really being in a depressed market. And this indication over here, which is the RSI, showing us that anywhere below this 40% mark on the monthly time frame has marked the bottoms every single time. So the first strategies I want to speak around is how can you prepare yourself for a bull cycle. Now, the first thing you have is you have Bitcoin and you have altcoins. So the important charts to pay attention to is the Bitcoin chart, the total 3 chart, and the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, what these 3 charts are going to indicate for you is Bitcoin, yes, is the best crypto asset. And for me, this is where the most safest part of my capital that I want to put into goes into the Bitcoin chart. And the same thing with Bitcoin is I want to invest when we are extremely oversold on a very high time frame view. If you look at these lows tend to come anywhere in the region of up to 4 years, right? Every 4 years, we tend to find the bottoms of the cycles. We are now approaching, we're around 30 to 40 days away from approaching that exact time zone. But the important things to pay attention to is this 200-day moving average and the RSI give you good indications of, firstly, when the market is oversold, but secondly, when it's ready to start going up. So when you look at key moments of when bull market started was when they actually started having monthly closes above the 200-day moving average. As you could see, we're slowing down, but we're slowly starting to approach that very important signal. So in times like this, the first strategy that I do is the DCA and prepare yourself. Right, so I start accumulating in this area over here. Now, I don't accumulate everything in case price does get cheaper, knowing that time frame wise, I am getting to the point of where market reset is incoming. But what I do is I start placing bets and I start entering dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin price. Then when I want to get a little bit more aggressive is once we start seeing a monthly close above the 200-day. When it comes to altcoins, I pay attention to the total 3 chart, right, which is all the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum. The first site, yes, again, is to have a very oversold RSI, right, below the 40% mark. And the second part is when I see that, I start dollar costing into the market. Now, 2026 brings a different opportunity for altcoins. Altcoins, every altcoin used to pop on previous alt seasons. Now we're starting to get a little bit more serious, right? Things that kind of play a little bit of a role in the markets. So things like AI, things like privacy tokens, decentralized tokens, these are all things that fundamentally make sense. And therefore, quality is going to start rising a lot more than everything. However, you are going to have your random meme coins, all different tokens start to rally up. So in this time over here, I really pay attention to what are the best blue chips I can buy in the market. Things like Solana, tokens that really make sense, that have been here through bear markets, right, and fundamentally make sense in this time. Then what we have is the 200-day. Right, so again, I dollar cost. I still leave a little bit of capital in case it gets a bit cheaper. However, once we get above the 200-day moving average, that's when I start deploying more into these altcoins. But what also happens when you get above this 200-day moving average, right, is all altcoins start to pop. So I start looking for trades, right? Tokens that I can buy the big breakout of 200-day moving average, and I can take profit the moment they really start to speed up whilst holding my blue chip alts. Now, again, the next thing to pay attention to as well is if you look at the current market condition, it is really moving in this big range to the upside. So what I start doing is as I look for my investments that I'm taking now, I do start setting take profit points before I actually get into them. The first area of take profit points is the mid-range of where we've been previously. It's a very healthy level of us definitely getting there. And then what I have is the previous tops, and then I have the blow of top over here. So I break it down where initial capital will come out over here. I'll start taking a lot of money off the table over here, and I'll leave 20% into the market for the possible blow off top area. So you have the first area, which is dollar cost averaging. Now, guys, I want to speak about an exchange, which I'm going to show you all the strategies, Toobit. Now, with this exchange, if you don't have it, there is a great special. There's a link below in the description. If you click on this link, right, anyone that's brand new to the exchange gets $50, right? But then what they also have is a deposit bonus, right, of up to $4,000, 20% cash back. That means that for any money that you put up to $4,000, you get 20% in cash back. So the max you can get is $800 back just by signing up with the link. So there's a link, pop in. So again, things like that, guys, if I am looking to accumulate, right, I can just look to buy in the normal spot section of my exchange. Accumulate the tokens, build them up over here, no leverage on these tokens. Right, then I want to jump into the next part. So if you go here to the exchange here, you do have these bots. Right, now bots are also quite important. So if you go through bots over here, bots can be really powerful when it comes to you kind of building positions and not actually having to do much, right? So if you go here onto the bot section, let's go here to the bot section. So you click on this, you go through to trading bots, and then you go to futures grids. So what this does is it allows you to kind of form a range. Now there's two ways of making money with bots. Again, the way I kind of deploy them is when I see a market like this, that at any point now is about to go into a range. So for example, we are here, okay, and we can go slightly lower, and there's a lot of upside. I want to set a bot that will trade all of this. So if it moves down from here, it will DCA in, right? If it moves up, it will start selling in many different increments to get me out over here. Now, the benefits of this is there's two ways you make money. The first one is the making money between the grids. So if the market chops around, instead of you getting destroyed trying to trade, it basically trades in and out multiple times. You earn that way. And then secondly, you also earn off the entire move that comes into play. So just to show you how this works, Bitcoin's at 64,000 now. Where do I think it can go down to? $50,000, right? Where do I think it can go up to is $90,000. As an example, right? I can set the amount of grids that I want. So I can set in 50 grids over here, and then I can choose the amount of capital. Now, as you can see, I need to put some capital into the exchange. And let's put $300 in. Okay, pop in this over here. And then as you can see, I can now select the amount of capital. Now, this is telling me for the amount of grids, let's put a little bit less grids. So there we go. Now, the next important part, guys, is you have the leverage over here. So 1x means no leverage at all. So you can't get liquidated. That's very important. If you want to do some leverage on it, you can add leverage into the position. I'm just going to show you guys over here. Here's a long strategy. Okay, there we go. Now my bot is set up. It has many different grids. If it goes down, it's going to buy. When it goes up, it's going to start selling them. So you get long and short and neutral bots as well. So this is something that I deploy high time frame, specifically on these high signals over here. I don't need to do much. I'm just buying at a very important range, and I can allow the bots to do what they need to do. So DCAing and bots is the big strategy. Then what we have is we have the trading side of things. Right? So again, you want to find yourself an exchange that can offer you two very important things. The first thing is to be able to trade crypto and leverage. So you have the USDT perpetual section over here. We can trade anything up to around 50 to 100x. Remember, leverage is very important for you to understand it before going too crazy. I start off nice and small. Once the trade is winning, I increase my leverage and I build it up nice and tight. But a place where you can basically go long, go short, build all these things. Now, the next thing is also having TradFi. Now, I want to speak about this because it's very important, right? When you want to make money as a trader, you want to be trading a trending market, right? So markets that are like this are not easy to trade, right? There's a lot of times you're going to get blown up, you're going to struggle because every time you're making money, it comes down, it takes you. So there's different parts to a market cycle or market conditions. You are either in a trending, can be up or down, then you hit a choppy stage. So if it's here, then it goes choppy. Okay, that's one way. Another way is we drop, chop, 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 right? We go up or we go down. What I'm trying to say here is this is very hard trading conditions. Right? You want to be finding conditions where a token is either moving aggressive down or aggressive up. Because in those periods, if you zoom in, it does something like this, right? It's moving down, but there's areas of where you can get good entries and exits. But ultimately, right, it's not chopping around and gives you ability to trade whichever the way the market's going. The important thing is to be able to trade up or down. Right? So the important thing here is to be able to have a platform, right, that can trade more than just crypto. So if you look at the conditions right now, very tricky, okay? But then I go to example of, let's say, gold, right? And I look at gold, and gold's actually trending. So right now, me personally, I've been trading gold for the last couple of weeks while waiting for crypto. But then there's a certain point where gold goes flat and crypto wakes up, right? Or the NASDAQ is pumping, gold is flat. You need to be able to move. So if you go back over here, you can see that there's a TradFi section, okay? And then you have the crypto section over here too. When it comes to us and the strategies that I use, they're very simple. I use something as a 4-step method, as I've spoken before. But for those who don't know, I just use multiple indications. So the first thing I would look as an example, if I want to trade this, I first see the pattern that it is forming, and it's forming a up-rising pattern. The next thing that I'll kind of look at to say, okay, where we are right now, I use a Fibonacci. Are we at a fib line? Yes, we are. Is there any horizontal resistance or support? Yes, there is. Is the RSI possibly at the top? So when I use trading, I use stochastic RSI. Yes, the RSI is at the top. Okay, when this trend line breaks, I'm going to execute the trade. So what I mean by that is you want to give yourself a system where you use 4, 5, 6 tools, and off of those tools ticking the box, let you grade the trade. So if you have 5 or 6 tools, and the tools they teach you to short pumps and obviously buy drops, right? Or teach you to wait for consolidation and breakouts. It's very important, okay? But if 3 of them out of 6 are ticking the box, it's a C grade trade. I enter 30% into the trade, right? If 5 of them out of 6 are ticking the box, then it's a B grade trade. I'm going to enter, 50% of capital in. And if all 6 go, then I enter around 60 to 70%. Make sure I'm correct, then I add the rest of the capital in. So giving yourself a simple charting system is super, super, super important. Guys, the important thing here is when you get very high time frame trades, they're grade A trades in the industry. Something that you only see every couple of years. Easiest way to make money in crypto is to buy and accumulate in the bottom areas and not have to do anything until RSIs get to the top and offload, right? But they do not come very often, right? So using things like bots, spot, accumulating long-term, that's the strategy to make a lot of money in crypto. When it comes to trading, you need to be diverse and trade multiple markets because there's bull markets or bull legs that are happening or bear legs that are happening every single day, and the opportunities are there for you guys. Keep it very simple. Have a rule system. Simple things off. I get 2 trades incorrect, I take a breather, right? These things are there to protect you mentally so that if you're in a bad headspace, you don't do too much damage, right? So I'm a trader that does very well over 2-3 weeks. But there is a day where I'll do a lot of damage. I'll undo 3 weeks of hard work, right? Just because I was in a bad mindset and I had to win. Those breaks and those rule systems are super, super, super important. Guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe up, like up. There's a lot of content coming, a lot of different angles for you guys and strategies. If you guys want a good exchange, Toobit, link below in the description, sign up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.